we use to bleach our clothes is extremely carcinogenic. And they're right in Safeway and the regular grocery stores. You can get non-chlorinated bleach to bleach your clothes.
Right.
So if you know that, that's what you buy every time you go. Alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, is very carcinogenic. It weakens the liver. So you want to make sure that you're not using that. You can use peroxide instead as a skin cleanser or whatever. So there's some simple little things you can do to change, get more healthy things in your life.
And because I think people, when they get something or when something happens to them, then they go ahead and run and say, what can we do? And maybe sometimes it's too late.
Right.
You know, it's interesting because the other day I picked up an article. It's from the Alternative Medicine, and it talks about breast cancer awareness as an example. And they talk a lot about it in here. I read the article because I just written an article on cancer myself anyways that I've been given to a lot of people and even in my own practice. But when I went across this article over here, it talks about we're looking for a cure for cancer. They have marathon runs, walk for cancer, bike-a-thon, or what have you, right? They seem to always be looking for a cure, and nothing is preventive. What about that?
Well, I think the main reason that these pharmaceutical companies and the companies that are investing so much in the cure and cancer treatment centers is they put their money into researching out drugs. And a lot of those are pharmaceuticals and plants that produce petrochemicals. So if they start talking about prevention, they're going to have to start admitting that some of the things they're producing are carcinogenic and are causing breast cancer. So, you know, it's not something that's for their business, you know, promoting their business or their practice. So in trying to get money for researching out the cure, they're getting more money to do more research with chemicals and drugs and treatments, and such as chemo, radiation, and tamoxifen. And I personally am not very proactive in suggesting the use of tamoxifen because it causes uterine cancer.
Amazing.
And the reason most people use it is its anti-angiogenous effects, which means it strangulates the vascularity to tumors. I personally believe there's a lot of natural things that do that. There's some products on the market today that are just amazing. Shark cartilage. Now, I've heard both pros and cons on shark cartilage, but right after Lane Labs put out all these articles about sharks not getting cancer because of the anti-angiogenous factors, everybody on the market wanted to produce shark cartilage. And I'm really very devoted to that one company because they researched out what part of the shark had the most active ingredients. They don't boil the bones, which make the ingredients inert. So all these people who said, well, we did research and it didn't work, I say, what shark did you use and what part and how did you treat it? Because there are products out there that are very effective, but you have to do your homework and find out. And I'd much rather use shark cartilage, which has no side effects for its anti-angiogenous factors, than use tamoxifen, which causes women to have to lose their uterus.
Exactly. You know, it's amazing when I read through this whole article, and it talks about a pharmaceutical company as an example, and I'm not going to mention any names, of course, but a pharmaceutical company that produces these carcinogenic products as far as pesticides and all of these particular environmental things that are causing cancers. And then in the next paragraph down it says that they have cancer centers all over and trying to find a cure for cancer. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Can you talk about that just for a moment?
Well, I think that they're really hoping that the American public is pretty ignorant.
Oh, is that?
I think they're hoping for that.
Okay.
You know, they're certainly not doing anything to educate us otherwise.
Right.
And, you know, and a lot of money is rolling into those companies, a tremendous amount of money. People really want to do something. They want to help. They want to make a difference. And they don't know what other options are out there. They don't know that there's nonprofits such as my nonprofit, which I teach about preventing breast cancer for free. They don't know that there's nonprofits who are doing research in prevention and using natural substances that have no side effects, bad side effects, to do the same thing as these chemical drugs are doing. So Lots has been invested in chemo and radiation, and
you know, it's amazing because, you know, I've seen so many people go through these particular procedures, like as far as chemotherapy.
It's very traumatizing.
Very traumatizing to the system, and even that it does, I know, get rid of some cancer, but it just takes the immune system and just brings it all the way to the
bottom rung of the ladder.
Bottom on the ladder, and all of a sudden the body just can't regroup and get going again.
Yes.
You know, people really need to know about prevention. They really need to get some paths that they can follow so they can, you know, get on it and get yourself educated. What about, what can we tell the people out there right now? We don't have a lot of time, I realize this. We can't give a whole big lecture out here on prevention, but what should we say 4 or 5 good things a person watching the show could do right now? Say maybe thermography, maybe having that done.
Yeah, it's a wonderful detective device that doesn't shoot radiation.
Perfect.
And that's the other thing we were going to mention is that radiation, excessive radiation can cause breast cancer.
Exactly.
So we want to avoid that.
Okay.
Avoid toxic chemicals. Have a water purifier in your house.
Okay.
And, you know, don't let your children swallow fluoride in the water or in their toothpaste. That's a really important thing. The products you use that you put on your body, your skin is an absorbing organ.
Yes.
So that's an important thing. Makeup, there's lead in mascara. I mean, you start looking at some of these things we put on our body, women especially.
I
mean,
know that.
Black hair dyes, I'm sure that's what caused the tumor that was in Elizabeth Taylor. She had a tumor from black hair dye. And so we just need to look at what we're doing to our bodies for the sake of beauty.
Yeah, really.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And just keep ourselves, I think women need to do their own breast exams. Be familiar with what a fibroid feels like, which it wiggles and moves around. The cancerous tumor is hard, like a little, like it's rooted. It doesn't wiggle around. It's pretty firm. And get to know their breasts and know when something unusual is there, and get in and get tested and get a skilled manual palpation or a thermography, which is a non-radiative detective device that's extremely accurate.
You know, it's amazing because if people just did just a few of these things that we're talking about tonight on the show, thermography, water filter, as an example. Say a breast exam for a woman, okay? Maybe taking some essential fatty acids and maybe a good natural supplement.
Organic diet.
It doesn't, you know, it's really funny when we sit here and talk about this, it doesn't really take a lot to do prevention here, does it?
No, it really makes a big difference. And also stress factors, because our lifestyles we push and push constantly.
I know we do.
And we really need to learn to relax, take time, take the weekend off.
Absolutely.
Sleep in.
Exactly.
You know, and get lots of smooches and hugs. It's real important.
Yeah, exactly.
Always tickling belly buttons. It's important things in life.
Exactly,
you know?
exactly.
Absolutely.
Smell the roses, in other words,
Absolutely.
Right? Well, you see people running around and they're drinking coffee to keep themselves up, and they're just taking their adrenal glands and they're just pounding their adrenal glands.
Right.
And you know, and then they wonder why they get sick.
Well, and that's a really important factor, because when you're in fight and flight, the first thing that happens, you stop producing your T cells and B cells, your lymphocytes that fight infection in your body, and your immune system gets compromised.
And I think that so many people are just under stress. But I think a lot of people can eliminate a lot of this stress in their lives if they just said, wait a minute, I'm going to smell the roses, like you just said.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the weekend off. I'm just not going to go through this nonsense anymore.
Right.
I need to
Slow
stop
down.
all of this. I'm not going to work 12, 16 hours a day. I don't want to do this anymore. And slow down, right?
Yes.
And create a lifestyle that's going to be more conducive to health instead of saying, I need to get out there and make money, I need to do this, I need to do that. And I think if people would just change a few of these things around, we'd see the cancer would probably go way down.
Right. And I think we need to call these petrochemical companies, call them on their stuff. How much they're making it. I mean, it's